The Lion King is a musical based on the 1994 Disney animated film of the same name with music by Elton John and lyrics by Tim Rice along with a musical score created by Hans Zimmer with choral arrangements by Lee Boehm directed by Julie Taymor. The musical features actors in animal costumes as well as giant, hollow puppets. The show is produced by Disney Theatrical. The musical debuted July 8, 1997, in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Orpheum Theatre, and was an instant success before premiering on Broadway at the new Amsterdam Theater on October 15, 1997 and previews with the official opening on November 13, 1997. On June 13, 2006, the Broadway production moved to the Minskoff Theatre to make way for the musical version of Mary Poppins, where it is still running after more than 6,700 performances. It is Broadway's fourth longest-running show in history and the highest-grossing Broadway production of all time, having grossed more than $1 billion. The show debuted in the West End's Lyceum Theatre on October 19, 1999 and is still running. The cast of the West End production were invited to perform at the Royal Variety Performance 2008 at the London Palladium on December 11, in the presence of senior members of the British royal family. In September 2014, The Lion King became the top-earning title in box office history for both stage productions and films, surpassing the record previously held by Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera, of which was the first to gross over $6 billion. U.S. and international productions. After the success of the Broadway show, the show was produced in the United Kingdom in 1999 by Harrison Lochtenberg, and continues to play at the Lyceum Theatre in London. Taymor led the British production of the show, with Melissa de Mello as the producer. The London production has celebrated its 10th anniversary in the West End. The show was translated into Japanese and staged by the Shiki Theatre Company. The Tokyo production began in 1998 and continues to the present day at the Shiki Theatre HARU. A Canadian production of the show was staged in Toronto and ran for nearly 4 years at the Princess of Wales Theatre. The show ran from 1999 to 2004. A Los Angeles production began performances at the Pantages Theatre on September 29, 2000 with an official opening on October 19, 2000. The show closed on January 12, 2003 after 952 performances. The show played at the Capitol Theatre in Sydney, Australia, from October 16, 2003, until June 26, 2005. The production then ran at the Regent Theatre in Melbourne from July 28, 2005 until June 4, 2006. The musical had a Korean production from October 28, 2006 to October 28, 2007 at the Charlotte Theatre, Southern Seoul. The Dutch production in 2004 was made at the Circus Theatre until August 27, 2006, taking place for Tarzan. Beginning in June 2007, The Lion King musical debuted its first-ever performance on the African continent in Johannesburg, South Africa. Its 10th-year anniversary was celebrated in the new Teatro Theatre at Monte Cassino in Four Ways. The Lion King is the first production to take place in the new theatre. The opening night in Johannesburg was celebrated with key persons involving the creation of the Lion King musical, and American talk show host Oprah Winfrey, who had recently opened an educational academy for girls in Johannesburg. The show closed on February 17, 2008. The Lion King musical debuted in Paris on September 22, 2007 in the Theatre Centre Mogador. There is currently one U.S. touring production. The tour version is very similar to the original Broadway production. However, certain scenic elements which rise out of the stage floor were converted to less costly configurations for the touring productions. The sun during the opening is reduced in size for the shorter-lasting tours. Stage sizes are also smaller, and the size of the pit orchestra is decreased. In August 2008, a production opened in Taipei, Taiwan, closing on August 24, 2009. The musical had a Mexican limited run between January 3 and January 27, 2008 in Mexico City, as part of the U.S. national tour. A Las Vegas production opened at Mandalay Bay on May 15, 2009 with previews beginning May 5, 2009. On October 20, 2011 the first Spanish production opened at Teatro Lope de Vega in Madrid, produced by Stage Entertainment. The Lion King is coming to the Marina Bay Sands Theatre. Base Entertainment and Marina Bay Sands are bringing the Disney theatrical group production to Singapore. The Southeast Asian premiere in Singapore will be a duplicate of the other shows performing in other parts of the world, such as London and New York. It will feature a new company of performers auditioned around the world. The show debuted in March 2011, closing on October 30, 2011. It was announced that the production will come to Russia in near future. On February 2012, it was announced that The Lion King will begin a UK tour, with Bristol performances beginning on August 31, 2012 and Manchester on December 1. Also, it was announced that a production at the Capitol Theatre in Sydney will debut in December 2013. A Brazilian production was confirmed to debut in São Paulo in March 28, 2013. Auditions take place in São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro and Salvador. The cast contain mainly Brazilian actors and 7 South African actors. The Portuguese lyrics were translated by Brazilian singer Gilberto Gil. It has been confirmed that an Ireland production will debut in 2013 as part of the United Kingdom tour. The Lion King will come back to Sydney's Capitol Theatre on December 12, 2013. Synopsis, Act I. As the sun rises, Rafiki the mandrill calls the animals to Pride Rock. She greets King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi before presenting their cub to the gathered animals. Elsewhere, Mufasa's brother, Scar, laments his lost chance at becoming king. Back at her baobab tree, Rafiki paints an image of the cub and asks the spirits to conjure the new prince's name, Simba. Time passes and Simba grows into a lively young cub. Mufasa shows Simba the Pride Lands from the top of Pride Rock and explains that everything exists in a delicate balance known as the Circle of Life. Mufasa warns Simba not to stray beyond the boundaries of the Pride Lands, pointing out a shadowy area in the distance. Zazu, a hornbill who acts as Mufasa's advisor, arrives and delivers his daily report on the state of affairs in the king's domain. Simba goes to see his uncle Scar. The scheming lion piques the cub's curiosity by mentioning the elephant graveyard, where Simba is forbidden to go. Meanwhile the lionesses go hunting. Simba arrives and asks his best friend, a female cub named Nala, to come with him to the elephant graveyard. He lies to the lionesses about where they are going, and Sarafina and Sarabi allow the cubs to go, escorted by Zazu. Simba and Nala formulate a plan and manage to lose Zazu, while Simba brags about his future position. The cubs go to the graveyard and begin to explore. Zazu catches up, but they are confronted by 3 hyenas, Shenzi, Banzai and Ed. The hyenas intend to eat the trespassers and gloat about their find. Mufasa rescues the cubs and frightens off the hyenas. Mufasa is disappointed and angry at Simba's reckless disobedience, and explains the difference between bravery and bravado. Mufasa tells Simba about the great kings of the past and how they watch over everything from the stars. Mufasa says that he will always be there for his son. Later he discusses Simba's behavior with Zazu, who reminds Mufasa that he had the same tendency to get into trouble at Simba's age. Back at the elephant graveyard, Scar tells the hyenas of a plan to kill Mufasa and Simba so that he can become king. He raises an army of hyenas, promising that they will never go hungry again if they support him. Scar takes Simba to a gorge and tells him to wait there. On Scar's signal, the hyenas start a wildebeest stampede into the gorge. Scar tells Mufasa that Simba is trapped in the gorge. Mufasa leaps into the stampede and manages to save his son, but as he tries to escape, Scar throws him off the cliff back into the stampede, killing him. Scar convinces Simba that his father's death was his fault and tells him to run away, but as he leaves, Scar orders the hyenas to kill him. Simba escapes but the hyenas tell Scar that he is dead. Rafiki and the lionesses mourn the deaths. Scar claims the throne and allows the hyenas into the Pride Lands. Rafiki returns to her tree and smears the drawing of Simba, while Sarabi and Nala quietly grieve. Out in the desert, Simba collapses from heat exhaustion. Vultures begin to circle, but are scared away by Timon the meerkat and Pumla the warthog. Simba feels responsible for Mufasa's death, but the duo take the cub to their jungle home and show him their carefree way of life and bug diet. Simba grows to adulthood in the jungle. Act 2, the chorus, dressed in colorful clothes with ornate bird puppets and kites, begin the second act. As the song ends, however, the beautiful birds are replaced by vultures and gazelle skeletons. Under Scar's rule, the circle of life is out of balance and a drought has hit the Pride Lands. Zazu, now a prisoner of Scar, listens to the king's woes. The hyenas are complaining about the lack of food, but Scar is only concerned with himself and why he is not loved. He is haunted by visions of Mufasa and rapidly switches between delusional confidence and paranoid despair. Nala arrives to confront Scar about the famine and Scar decides she will be his queen and give him cubs. Nala fiercely rebukes him and resolves to leave the Pride Lands to find help. Rafiki and the lionesses bless her for her journey. Back in the jungle, Timon and Pumbaa want to sleep, but the restless Simba is unable to settle. Annoyed, Simba leaves them, but Timon and Pumbaa lose their courage and follow him. Simba leaps across a fast-moving river and challenges Timon to do the same. Timon falls in and is swept downstream. He grabs a branch over a waterfall and calls for Simba's help, but Simba is paralyzed by a flashback of Mufasa's death. Timon falls from the branch and Simba snaps out of the flashback, rescuing his friend. Simba is ashamed that Timon nearly died because of his recklessness. The three friends settle to sleep and discuss the stars. Simba recalls Mufasa's words, but his friends laugh at the notion of dead kings watching them. Simba leaves, expressing his loneliness and bitterly recalling Mufasa's promise to be there for him. Rafiki hears the song on the wind, joyfully realizes that Simba is alive, and draws a mane onto her painting of Simba. In the jungle, Pumbaa is hunted and chased by a lioness. Simba confronts her and saves his friend, but recognizes the lioness as Nala. She is amazed to find Simba alive, knowing that he is the rightful king. Timon and Pumbaa are confused, but Simba asks them to leave him and Nala alone. Timon realizes what is happening and laments the end of Simba's Hakuna Matata lifestyle. Nala tells Simba about the devastated Pride Lands, but Simba still feels responsible for Mufasa's death and refuses to return. On his own, Simba meets Rafiki, who explains that his father lives on. Mufasa's spirit appears in the sky and tells Simba he is the one true king and must take his place in the circle of life. Reawakened, Simba finds his courage and heads for home. Meanwhile, Nala wakes Timon and Pumbaa to ask where Simba is, and Rafiki appears to tell them all the news. The three of them catch up with him in the Pride Lands, where he witnesses the ruin of his home. Timon and Pumbaa distract some hyenas by doing the Charleston, allowing Simba and Nala to reach Pride Rock. Scar calls for Sarabi and demands to know why the lionesses are not hunting. Sarabi stands up to him about the lack of anything to hunt, angrily comparing him to Mufasa, and Scar strikes his sister-in-law, saying he's 10 times the king Mufasa was. Enraged, Simba reveals himself. Scar forces a confession of murder from Simba and corners him. Believing that he has won, Scar taunts Simba by admitting that he killed Mufasa. Furious, Simba recovers and forces Scar to reveal the truth to the lionesses. Simba's friends fight the hyenas while Simba battles Scar to the top of Pride Rock. Scar begs for his life, blaming the hyenas for everything. Simba lets him leave out of the mercy, but Scar attacks again. Simba blocks the attack and Scar falls from the cliff. The hyenas, who heard Scar's betrayal and are still starving, tear him to shreds. With the battle won, Simba's friends come forward and acknowledge Simba as the rightful king. Simba sends Pride Rock and roars out across the kingdom. The Pride Lands recover and the animals gather in celebration as Rafiki presents Simba and Nala's newborn cub, continuing the circle of life. Songs, cut from the show as of June 27, 2010, musical adaptation. The musical incorporates several changes and additions to the storyline as compared to the film. The mandrill Rafiki's gender was changed to a female role because Tamar believed that there was generally no leading female character in the film. Rafiki was portrayed by Tsidi Ilaloka in the original Broadway musical, and by Josette Buchel-Mingo in the original London production. Several new scenes are present, including a conversation between Mufasa and Zazu about Mufasa's parenting and a perilous scene in which Timon finds himself nearly drowning in a waterfall while Simba feels powerless to help him. A major narrative addition is the depiction of Nala's departure in the scene The Madness of King Scar, where the mentally deteriorating villain tries to make Nala his mate. Nala refuses and later announces her intention to depart the Pride Lands and find help. She receives the blessings of the Lionesses and Rafe Key during the new song Shadowland. Like its predecessor, The Beauty and the Beast musical, the show adds more songs to its stage production, including Morning Report, sung by Zazu the Hornbill and later added to the film for the Platinum Edition DVD release. Shadowland originally featured on the CD Rhythm of the Pride Lands with Zulu lyrics as Lee Halilila, was adapted for the musical with new English lyrics. It is sung by Nala, the Lionesses, and Rafe Key. Endless Night, also from Rhythm of the Pride Lands with Swahili lyrics as Lala, is sung by Simba while reflecting on Mufasa's promise to always be there. One by One from the Rhythm of the Pride Lands CD was adapted as the rousing African-styled interact sung by the chorus at the opening of the second act. Many of the animals portrayed in the production are actors in costume using extra tools to move their costumes. For example, the giraffes are portrayed by actors walking on stilts. For principal characters such as Mufasa and Scar, the costumes feature mechanical headpieces that can be raised and lowered to foster the illusion of a cat lunging at another. Other characters, such as the hyenas, Zazu, Timon, and Pumbaa, are portrayed by actors in life-sized puppets or costumes. The Timon character is described by Tamer as one of the hardest roles to master because the movement of the puppet's head and arms puts a strain on the actor's arms, back, and neck. Composer Lebo M. led the original Broadway chorus. The chorus members are usually visible in the production, rather than being hidden in the shadows as seen in some other musical shows. A new section of the production, The Lioness Hunt, features a particularly complicated dance sequence for the actresses, and the dance is made even more difficult by the large headpieces worn during this scene. During the show's run in China, Chinese elements were included in the musical. One of the songs was adapted to a well-known Chinese pop song, Lao Shui Dami, or Mice Love Rice. The cast even cracked jokes and attempted conversations with the audience in Chinese. As of June 27, 2010, 9 minutes of the Broadway version were cut, among them the entire Morning Report musical number. The song was also removed from subsequent productions and cast recordings, such as the Spanish one. Recordings. Various international cast recordings are available on CD, including 1997 Broadway cast, 1999 Japanese cast, 2002 German cast, 2004 Dutch cast, 2007 French cast, 2007 South African cast, 2011 Spanish cast, 2014 Australian cast. Note, a recording entitled The Lion King, by the London Theatre Orchestra and Singers, was released on November 14, 2000. This is not the London original cast recording. The Lion King, original Broadway cast recording. The Lion King, original Broadway cast recording is a cast recording released on 1997 by the Walt Disney Company, a recording of the songs as heard in the staged musical. Most of the tracks were composed by African composer Lebo M. and focused primarily on the African influences of the film's original music, with most songs being sung either partially or entirely in various African languages. The Spanish cast recording doesn't have the Morning Report, maybe because the scene was removed from subsequent productions after the Broadway one. Also, it is the only one where One by One was renamed due to the language, though the song is performed with its original lyrics. Rafe Key's chants in Rafe Key Morns were written by Tsidi Ilaloka, who originated the role on Broadway. Circle of Life a Euro Faka Kulu, Lebo M., The Lion King Ensemble and Tsidi Ilaloka, Grasslands Chant a Euro The Lion King Ensemble, The Morning Report a Euro Jeff Hoyle, Samuel E. Wright and Scott Irby Rania, The Lioness Hunt a Euro Lebo M. and The Lion King Ensemble, I Just Can't Wait to Be King a Euro Jeff Hoyle, Kalwana Shuford, Scott Irby Rania and The Lion King Ensemble, Chow Down a Euro Kevin Cahoon, Stanley Wayne Mathis and Tracy Nicole Chapman, They Live in You a Samuel E. Wright and the Lion King Ensemble, B. Prepared a John Vickery, Kevin Cahoon, Stanley Wayne Mathis, The Lion King Ensemble and Tracy Nicole Chapman, The Stampede a The Lion King Ensemble, Rafe Key Morns a The Lion King Ensemble and Sidi La Loca, Hakuna Matata a Jason Reyes, Max Kaesler, Scott Irby Rania, The Lion King Ensemble and Tom Allen Robbins, One by One a Les Bohèmes and The Lion King Ensemble, The Madness of King Scar a Jeff Will, Heather Headley, John Vickery, Kevin Cahoon, Stanley Wayne Mathis and Tracy Nicole Chapman, Shadowland a Heather Headley, The Lion King Ensemble. And Sidi La Loca, The Lion Sleeps Tonight a Les Bohèmes, Endless Night a Jason Reyes and The Lion King Ensemble, Can You Feel the Love Tonight a Heather Headley, Jason Reyes, Max Kaesler, The Lion King Ensemble and Tom Allen Robbins, He Lives in You a Jason Reyes, The Lion King Ensemble and Sidi La Loca, Simba Confronts Scar a Mark Mancina and Robert L. High, King of Pride Rock Circle of Life a Jeff Will, Heather Headley, Jason Reyes, Les Bohèmes, Max Kaesler, The Lion King Ensemble, Tom Allen Robbins and Sidi La Loca. Note, the songs Grasslands Chant, The Lioness Hunt, Chow Down, They Live in You, Rafe Key Morns, One by One, The Madness of King Scar, Shadowland, Endless Night, and Simba Confronts Scar are newest classics. Instrumentation, the original Broadway show included, 1 wood flute soloist piccolo, 1 concert mistress, 2 violins, 1 violin viola, 2 cellos, 1 flute bass clarinet, 3 French horns, 1 trombone, 1 bass trombone tuba, 1 upright and electric basses, 1 drums, 1 guitar, 2 mallets percussion, 2 percussion, 3 keyboard synthesizers. Awards and nominations: Original Broadway production, Original London production, Original France production. References. External links: Official website, Internet Broadway database listing, Disney musical debuts in Shanghai, Impressing Audience with Chinese Elements by Xinhua News Agency, People's Daily Online, July 19, 2006, retrieved October 18, 2006, The Lion King musical lyrics,